In our last video, as part of this beautiful Your Best Year Ever Vlogmas series, we talked about your list of 20 things that make you woohoo! And in this video, we're going to pick up with something a little different. I want you to get to know how to really bring in something that you want, but you have absolutely no idea how. Let's get a miracle in the next 48 hours. All right, so I want to share with you my 5 C's to receive a gift or a miracle within 48 hours. And I think the last item isn't a C, but you'll know what to do when we get there. So why do this? Sometimes we have things that we want to do in our lives, things that we want in our business, and we just don't know how. We can't even imagine that it could be a true thing, yet it really is weighing down on your heart, and you know it's what you're supposed to do. And you just feel almost like bound because you can't figure it out. And of course, my first thing is stop trying to figure it out. Just look for the next step. And sometimes even the next step seems uncertain. So let me talk to you about my 5 C's so that you can work toward asking for that gift or that miracle. Like I said, within 48 hours. So number 1, get clean. You've got to ground and center and really be in alignment, right? When you're doing this ask, right? You've got to really be clean and just let go of all the other garbage going on in your life, in your world. Like everything else that's happened up until that point in the day in your life doesn't matter, right? You want to be very clean, very grounded, very centered, very in the moment. That really is the most important thing. Is to get ground, get centered in the moment. And yes, I did a video on this. So it's earlier in the Vlogmas series. It was actually the first video. It's on ground and centering because it permeates every other video in this series because it's so important. It's like that fundamental base that you must have in place to keep going. All right, let's look at step number 2. Step number 2 is to get clear. You obviously have to know what you want. You're asking for a gift or a miracle. Well, what is it that you want? Right? I think so many people, and I've said this so many times, I think especially in my series on manifesting your goals, you have muddled manifestations. You get muddied results because you don't really know what you want. You kind of do, you kind of don't, and maybe I deserve it, and maybe I don't. And what if so-and-so thinks this or someone else says that? Yeah. Get clear on what you want and be hyper focused on just that. Doesn't matter if you've done it before or not. Doesn't matter if it's happened before or not. Doesn't matter what anyone says. Doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Get hyper focused on what that thing is. Okay, so know what you want. So important. Know what you want. All right, so what is number 3? Get concrete. So you're saying, but Africa, you just told me to get clear. Isn't getting clear being concrete? Yes, it is. But this is a different level of concreteness. When we're dealing with things, especially if you're one of those people like, can this really happen? Can I really put in this request and have something come back in the real world? Or is this just all going to be in my mind? This is where Get Concrete comes in. You need some kind of sign, right? Some kind of sign so that you know it's from God, that's from the divine, it was from your angels, the universe, whatever it is, plug in that name that you use, right? You need some kind of sign. Especially, and let me get biblical here for you, doubting Thomases. So figure out what that sign is. Sometimes if you just simply in your ground and centered space, you ask what will be the sign, something immediately will pop into your mind. And you know that will be the sign. And it can be something very simple and something rather outrageous that especially is wonderful when it's something that you rarely see in your existence or you rarely think about, and then something happens and the sign comes and you're like, oh, wow. Okay? So definitely meditate for a moment, find out what the sign is, or if you just have something that you simply love, rare, not rare, whatever, request that that be the sign. So if you are enjoying this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, because you know I'm doing this whole Vlogmas series and you want to get all of it because you want to have your best year ever. And every part of the series you can use at any time, beginning of the year, middle of the year, each month, each quarter, whatever works for you. This is a way so that you can have the best fill in the blank ever. So let's get going with number 4. Number 4 is get connected, right? You want to anchor in this entire vibe that's going on. There's something that you want. You've got to know deep in your heart that that's what you want. You have to feel the feeling of what you want, right? So maybe you're trying to get some resolution with your spouse, or have that new partner come in, or new clients, or more money, whatever it is. You've got to feel the feeling of actually having it. Not what it's like as you're getting it, but what it's like after you already have it, right? You need to connect to that feeling and bring that into your body. In fact, as much as possible, I want to say every day, but we're talking about 48 hours here. So as often as possible during this period, anchor in that feeling, recall it into your mind, and feel that feeling of already having it. Which brings us beautifully to number 5, which is get certain. You can anchor in the feeling that you already have it. You can be clear about what you want. You can be concrete about the sign. You can be clean. But if you are not certain that you can have it, you can't have it, right? I always get confused if it was Ford or if it was Mary Kay Ash, who said something along the lines of, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right, right? Either way, this is really about how your mind affects things in the world around you. So you actually have to believe that it can happen so that you can take action. Because we don't take action in things that we don't believe in. If you've ever really found yourself stymied in a project, chances are you didn't believe in the project, or you didn't believe in the people that you had to work with or for, or whatever it was. And if there's lack of belief there's lack of belief that you're going to see something come to fruition, you stall out, right? Why put forth the energy? Even subconsciously, we're like, forget it, right? That's where it's coming from. So you must be certain. You must believe that it can happen, and you'll start taking those actions to help it happen. So there's this nice synergy that comes in. You can see I'm like pulling out all the stops on all these things that I know. So I think it was the Quakers that say you have to pray with your feet moving, right? You need to be in action. The GPS cannot correct you until the car is in motion, right? If you're at a dead stop and you're trying to figure out which way to go and it's several yards ahead and it hasn't quite figured out where you are, it's only when you move that it can say, oh, well, you need to go right or you need to go left. This especially happens to me in parking lots. It's trying to figure out where I am and how I'm going to get out there. So I have to get into motion so it can start directing me, right? The same thing is going to happen with this, where you're asking for your gift, when you're asking for your miracle. You're only going to get those nudges as you get into motion. And trust me, you're only going to get into motion if you are certain, if you believe that it can happen. Right? So again, we're anchoring it in, we're getting it, and we're connecting to it, right? In step 4. So with all of that, ask, right? That big thing is sometimes we don't feel that we're worthy enough to ask for what we want. from people, our friends, our family, clients, co-workers, employers, whatever. And I know I'm talking entrepreneurs here, but just in general, I want you to look back on your life and realize no matter what position you're in, it probably felt uncomfortable to ask. Well, guess what? I have found the same thing when it comes to the divine. You get so afraid to ask. You've got to ask, right? You've got to put in that ask. There's these other factors. I brought in all 5 C's for you, right? Get clean, get clear, get concrete, get connected, get certain. And all that comes together in a beautiful bow when you ask. So make sure to ask and be crystal clear in your ask. And you will be shocked what happens within 48 hours. All right, so in our next video, I've got more for you. So if you've been following along in this series, you know that yesterday you made your list of 20. Well, we're going to do something with it in tomorrow's video. So make sure if you haven't watched that video yet, go back and watch it. Make your list of 20 things and have it ready to go for tomorrow's video. I am so excited to bring all this to you during Vlogmas, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Peace, joy, love to you.